There's been a few occasions there and there where I was like, okay, maybe it's time to quit. But I kept doing it for 10 years. Hey guys, welcome to my channel, and here's my first video. For my first video, I wanted to talk about why I stopped modeling and share with you my experience as a model. So first of all, I've been modeling for like 10 years, and I think most of my viewers, most of my friends, most of the people I've met in my life know me as a model, because I've just been doing this job for so long that it became part of my identity, which is normal. And today people still believe that I'm a full-time model, but I am not. And I think it would be interesting to make this video for my friends as well, because I have a lot of model friends and they're still modeling, and they might be wondering, how is life after modeling? Is it possible to do something, to do a different job? Like how to stop being a model and start a new chapter of your life? Because that's something I was wondering as well when I wanted to quit. Like I wanted to quit many times. There's been a few occasions there and there where I was like, okay, maybe it's time to quit. But I kept doing it for 10 years. It's been incredible and I'm very happy I've been through all this, but also I want to talk about it in this video. Let's talk about those times where I wanted to quit, because I think when you start feeling like, okay, maybe something's off with this job, maybe it's not what I want to do anymore, and you start having doubts, like in a relationship, right? When you start thinking, what if, I think that's when, eventually you ask yourself, is it the time I quit? Is it happening? What am I going to do now? The first time I thought maybe I need to quit, it was back then when I was in China. For people who are not familiar with contracts, I've been mostly an international model, meaning I don't model in my own country, but I model abroad. And it's very common for models to go work in China because there's a lot of jobs. In China, there's a massive industry, fashion industry there. That's where all the clothes from Shein, Amazon, the products from Amazon, and everything that's made in China basically is shot there. So there's a lot of jobs for models. That time I was on my second contract in China. That was definitely before COVID. To be honest, not gonna lie, it wasn't going so well. I had an agency at that time and a model agency. So my model agency put me in this agency in Shenzhen that I had no knowledge of. Like I didn't know anything about them, and they didn't even have a reputation. I was like, okay. I didn't work well. I went to many castings. I did like 3 photo shoots that I don't even know if those were jobs or not. But yeah, I didn't work much. I had like 5 jobs. But even though I only had 5 jobs, because modeling in China pays you really, really well, I could refund my agency of all my expenses. So for short, when you go in a placement contract, you have a statement, and this statement is a list of all the expenses that the agency make on your behalf, that they make for you. So at the end of the contract, you have to refund. Normally, you don't have to refund if your balance is 0 and you haven't worked. But if your balance is enough that you can cover the expenses, you will give that money to them. Even if at the end of the day you get 0, if you can refund them, you will. So with the money I've heard with those 5 jobs, I was able to cover my expenses, which is crazy. Like, it's insane. But I was able to cover the expenses. And even if I cover my expenses, the agency decided not to give me the money they were supposed to give me. There was a big misunderstanding. There was a big fight. And in the end, I could live with some money, but I just felt like, wow, that wasn't a good contract. I felt like I didn't do anything. I was wondering, is it me? Am I not good enough? Is it my style? Is it my skill? Like, I had no idea. And the thing with modeling is that when things don't work out, you often blame yourself first. You can blame agencies as well, but I think models blame themselves first before blaming agencies. We are the one doing the work. We are the face. We are the body. We are the attitude, the posing. So yeah, if something doesn't work out, you think about yourself first. What did I do wrong? At least in my case, it was always the first thought in my mind. Is it me? Am I not good enough? Am I good enough to be a model, or is it just the end for me? So that was the first time when I had doubts. But then of course I went on another contract, and the contract after were okay. I was still working, and sometimes, you get an amazing job, like a high paid job, some TV commercial or something, and you're like, it's okay, I'm still in. I'm still in the game. I can still make it. And you feel like, okay, let's go. Like, you feel the confidence coming back. And so I think I just kept going like this for so many years until Bangkok. Because after COVID, it's funny because I felt two emotions during COVID. The first emotion I felt was I want to travel. I want to get out. I want to go back to the normal traveling life where I go there. And I was also at this point in my life where I wanted stability, and I was tired of being a model, because being a model is so precarious. It's very challenging because it's not stable. So you don't know if you're going to make money. You don't know when you're going to get paid. Sometimes you wait a month, 2 months, 3 months. You usually don't get money straight away. If you're an agency model, you have to wait. And sometimes there's a problem, and like, the client hasn't paid and this and that, and you wait for months. Sometimes I was waiting for months for my income. You try to be understanding, and it's not so bad because when you're on a trip, the expenses are covered, so at least you don't have to pay rent. You don't have to think about eating something because there's many paid models dinner. So you can survive, it's fine. You still feel pissed off because normal people get paid after they work, like they get their salary every month, and you cannot. You have to try to save somehow and pay for, I don't know, like insurance or taxes or whatever, like everyone. You're not like everyone. And you have to try to behave like everyone. It's very precarious. Because of that, I was thinking, how long can I keep going on like this? Having no salary, living with the uncertainty about my future. The other problem is the schedule. If you're someone who wants to do many things like me, have a YouTube channel, do some outside activities, do sport or dancing or whatever hobby you want to do, it's very hard to maintain when you're a model because your schedule is so hectic. Like, you can work on a Monday until 5, and then Tuesday you're gonna start at 6 a.m. and finish at 12. And then on the weekend, maybe sometimes you work and you don't have like a day off per week. You can have one, you can have 5 days off per week. Like, you never know. And that's also the case for everyone who's a freelancer, right? You kind of manage your own schedule. If you're a freelance model, yes. But if you're an agency model, you do not manage your own schedule. The agency manages it for you. So the agency controls your life, basically. And this is also another thing that I didn't like. But you can always quit your agency and become a freelance model and have more power over your life. I think every model at a point of their life, they should try to be a freelance model because the experience is very different. Even as a freelance model, I was starting to feel like, okay, I want to have more control over my life. I don't want to be worried about my schedule. I also don't want to be worried about my weight or my appearance. This is another thing that is hard when you're a model. You cannot take decisions without asking people. You cannot change your hair without asking your agent. You cannot do your nails in a certain color. You cannot gain weight because maybe there's fashion week in 2 months. They want it to be a certain size, and so you have to be careful. Some people think that, models are always skinny. Like, if you started as a skinny model, you will stay skinny, and that's how you are. That's genetics, like you won the lottery ticket or whatever they say. But it's not true. We all humans, we go through different things. Maybe one day we get sick and we have to go on a treatment, and the treatment's heavy and pills make you gain weight, or hormonal treatment. Like, I take birth control pills, so this has side effects on my mental health and my physical health, and I cannot control this. But I have to take it because, I need it. So, there's many things. And it's not that the people in modeling in the industry don't know. It's more that they don't care. You decided to be a model, right? So it is your responsibility to be fit and to stay in shape, which was always okay for me. This is part of my job. I have to work on it. I have to stay in shape. So I did try some diets sometimes, especially in my early modeling years, because I knew nothing. I haven't talked with a nutritionist or any nutrition expert. I didn't know shit about food. I didn't know what was carbs and what was protein when I was like 21, 22. And that was not so long time ago. That was 10 years ago. And I didn't know. I wasn't into sports. I didn't know nothing about muscles. I knew nothing. I had so little knowledge. So I had to learn everything while working. I'm really grateful for hanging out with models, my roommates, and everyone I've met during my trips because I've learned so much from them. I received no teaching, even to walk, like to do a catwalk. Nobody told me how to catwalk, and fashion shows were part of my first trips. It was part of my first early my first contract in Indonesia. I joined the fashion week of Indonesia, like Jakarta's fashion week, and I was like, I don't even know how to walk. Nobody told me how to walk, and I remember I asked my roommate, can you tell me like how's my walk, because I have no idea. And she was like, oh yeah, you it's okay, like you maybe crossing your legs a bit too much, but you're fine. Like I had no idea how to do it. I don't think that's how it should be. You should have someone teach you the basics, or you should have someone tell you about how's the life. Because I wasn't really into modeling, I wasn't into fashion, so I knew nothing. I had no knowledge of all this. And I wish someone just told me a few things. Anyways, imagine how hard it is when you have to control your weight, your shape. You have to stay healthy, you have to keep your energy high because it's a physical job, of course. And you have to stay in shape and take care of your body without being sick. Of course, we don't have leaves. We don't have sick leaves. If you're sick, if it's 1 or 2 days, it's fine. If it's more than 2 days, you need to go to the hospital. If the hospital is like, oh, you have nothing, like you can go to work, then you go to work, even if you feel like shit. You don't have a choice. And there's no holidays. And this is part of the lifestyle as well. A lot of things aren't easy, to be honest, when I think about it. Well, I wouldn't quit if I didn't have a new job, of course. You cannot quit your job when you don't have another job, right? I think it's pretty risky, it's pretty dangerous to quit your job if you don't have a plan B. So of course I had another opportunity, but why did I choose to take this opportunity? It's also because of the money. Money is an interesting topic because I think a lot of people would think, oh, if you make $20 an hour, you have a high-paying job, right? You have a high-paid job, you're pretty lucky. Let's say you don't work every day. You work 2 days a week, 3 days a week, $20 per hour. Maybe you work less, you get paid more. So in a month, you feel like it's worth it because you make more money and you don't work that much. And so you have more free time to do whatever you want to do. So you might think it's worth it. But then when you look at a year, like when you look at the whole year and you realize you haven't even earned as much as the minimum salary, the minimum wage, you have to remember that the expenses for rent, pocket money, so $50-$60 per week, visa fees, they're refundable, so you don't have to pay for them. And it's covered by your agency, so, this is excluded from the salary. In reality, you make more than what you earn. You make more, but that more goes to the agency because it's part of your expenses. It's part of your deal. And models usually get 50 to 40%. Maybe sometimes 60% of their salary. You think it's actually not that bad because all that money is just savings, right? In the end, you don't really live like a normal person. I remember so many times when I was in contracts, I would be very careful with my money. I would not allow myself to spend on anything else than food. Obviously, I need food to survive and do my job. And because any other expense I couldn't afford. I couldn't afford buying clothing. I couldn't afford buying expensive creams or serums, even though, I need to take care of my skin. I couldn't afford to go to the spa. I couldn't afford to go to the nail salon sometimes. Like so many things I couldn't afford. I was just saving money to be able to, to eat and maybe save money to be able to pay for my flight back home because now, these days, agencies don't even pay for flights. Thailand to France, it's like so expensive. And you don't even know if you're going to make that money because you don't know if you're going to work. Honestly, when I think about all that money, I'm like, okay, maybe this goes into my savings. But then I didn't even really see those savings at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Because sometimes I had to take the money out of my pocket to pay for flights. I use some money to pay my taxes. I use some money to buy something I really need, like a camera or like a new battery for my computer, like stuff that is a bit more expensive, you know, it's not clothes. I think I didn't really see this money at the end of the day. The money I made, I needed that money to pay for important stuff. And so in the end, what I made, it wasn't much. It was so low. And when I look at my 10 years, there's only 2 or 3 years on those 10 years that I made more than the minimum wage in my country. And it's not a lot at all. I maybe didn't have to pay rent. Maybe I didn't have to pay a few flight tickets. But that's it. Money, financial freedom, financial stability, having a salary every month, having a decent salary, and having, you know, certain benefits like if I want to take a day off, I can. And I can do whatever I want with my hair or my looks, dress how I want and gain weight and do whatever I want to do. I think those are the reasons why I went for a new job and I stopped modeling. Now I have a huge respect for my friends who are still modeling, and I really think it's a great job. I think it has a lot of benefits. I think you learn so much by being a model, and you learn so much by traveling and being on your own. Like, you grow like crazy. I am so grateful for this experience because I was able to do so many things, and I was able to travel, and I was able to meet my boyfriend, for example, and I got inspired, and it made me confident about myself as well. There's many times where I felt like, oh, I'm in this fucking magazine, I'm in Vogue, hey. You know, so, and then it's a great story to tell to people, the people on Dreaming French, like my friends, my family. My mom is so proud, and that always makes me awkward, but makes me happy as well. I don't regret anything. I'm very happy to have been through this. I have amazing memories. It was something. It was a big part of my life. I'm really happy about it, but also I'm happy I moved on. It's a new chapter for me. Now I'm a full-time content creator. I'm a content creator for a platform called Dreaming French, and it's actually a platform when you can try immersive learning. It's a way to learn languages that doesn't involve following strict lessons like grammar, the alphabet, and things like that. The more hours you spend listening and watching videos, the more you will remember things, actually learn the language. I didn't know about this method at all. It's pretty interesting, and then you get to learn about the lives of the people abroad and their culture. You actually learn a lot of things. It's very entertaining, it's very fun to watch, and it's very interesting. Want you to check it out. I think that's it for this video. Of course, I haven't explored every aspect of modeling and everything that happened to me. So if you're interested in knowing more about my experience, my life when I was a model, feel free to leave a comment so I can make more videos about it. I have a few ideas of topics, but yeah, your insight is very important and valuable. Thank you for everyone who watched my first video. I hope you liked it. Thank you so much for being here, and if you can, please subscribe to my channel so that I can make more videos and maybe one day become a full-time YouTuber. Who knows? I'm open to anything. Bye!